Alright, everybody, welcome to Arizona ZJ. This is going to be round number 2 of repairing the ball joints, the hub, and the axle on this 96 Grand Cherokee Laredo. This is the 5.2 liter. I say it's round 2 because I did another set of videos on this. It was a 2-day project that I had done. I completed it yesterday, and when I uploaded all the files, I only had 3 video clips that came out after, like I said, 2 days of setting up shots and different angles of taking off all the bolts and showing everything. It was about, I would say roughly about 15 hours of footage that the files were all corrupted, and I got nothing. So I'm going to give it another shot, and hopefully this will work out this time around. I don't know what happened, but more on the driver's side this time. I did obviously the passenger side yesterday and the day before that. It is a nice, beautiful 88 degrees right now. Not a single cloud in the sky. And I have the sun beating on my back right now. It is supposed to be 96 degrees today. We will see. 2 days ago, when I started the passenger side, the Weather Channel said it was supposed to be 95. It actually got up to 99 where I'm at, and it was hot. Let me tell you. At the end of the day, I was a little woozy and didn't drink enough water, got a little dehydrated, probably some heat exhaustion. So let's get started on this. I have here, I've taken the wheel off. I have an 1.5 inch wheel spacer that the previous owner had put on. Nothing on this vehicle was put on by me. I have not done any upgrades to this vehicle. Let me swing you around over here so you can see this. Like I said in the walk around video on this vehicle, inch-and-a-half spacer on 255 75/17s. That is a 32-inch tire. You can see here it's got tire rub. And let me disconnect my power cord here, and I'm going to walk you around to the passenger side really quick and slide you in here so you can see the rub that is on the passenger side sway bar. It's really bad over here on this side. Like I said, that's with 1.5 inch spacers. So whoever had this vehicle before I got it clearly didn't think out these big tires with these rims and the back spacing, because it's still rubbing. Maybe not as much on the driver's side, but it's definitely rubbing on the passenger side. Now look at these sway bar links or bushings. Man, they are wore out. Like I said, there's been nothing replaced on this vehicle. I'm pretty sure everything on this thing is stock, all original. These are the original control arm bushings in there. We're gonna have to replace all of that. I'm hoping that if it sounds like I'm talking in a box, it's because you're, oops, lost my chair there. The camera is actually in a box, trying to keep you out of the sun as much as possible so my camera doesn't burn up. Plug it back in so I don't lose my power. I'm gonna use some red nickery here and use the old tie rod to with the lug nuts on here to help brace up these. I might be going the wrong way. I think I am. Because boy, these are on there good. Let me here grab my other bar. I have to grab my breaker bar out or something too, because these are on there pretty good. There we go. Nope, it sure didn't. While I was doing this series the other day, I broke 2 sockets, one socket and 3 adjustable wrenches. So hopefully I can get through this without breaking any more doggone wrenches, because this is kicking my butt. You know what? I have got a different, these are 19 millimeter, and I have pretty sure I'll use the one from my jack. There we go. Here's that one. Here's that one. Here's that one. Now, I need to get this to come around a little bit. So, lift it up on these two here. Nope. Take this one off. Protect these threads. So, do a little adjusting. Slide that in there. It'd be easier if I had somebody else to step on the brakes, but at the moment I don't. Let's see here. There we go. There's that one. And then just this one more. Put in for now. It's getting warm. Now, from doing this the other day, let me slide you in here real quick so I can show you. Inside here, we have to get to that big bolt in there with that cotter pin. And that cotter pin, the cotter pin in there, you can take it out. You have to take it out, but it's blocked by the wall of this spacer, and you have to take the spacer off to get to the pin, because when you try and pull it out from the side, it hits the wall of the spacer, and you can't take it off to get to that nut. So you have to take the spacer off. You could just pull the rotor off, take off the brake caliper, but then you have a problem. If you don't have power tools, which I do have power tools, but if I used them, then my janky compressor will be going off every 3 minutes, and you wouldn't be able to hear what I'm saying. So I'm just choosing not to use power tools, because honestly, that air compressor drives me nuts. Just the sound of it running all the time. And honestly, I'd rather just use my hands. So there we go. Spacer is off. Set that aside. Now we have access to our cotter pin. I did spray it down with some penetrating oil earlier because that bad boy is rusted. So, needle nose pliers, we are going to bend these back as straight as possible. May have an issue with that end right there. I have to get some regular pliers, but they wiggle back and forth, so the oil got in there good. And now what I have discovered from the other side is that the needle nose pliers work okay trying to get them out this pin. And yeah, you can start working it out, but then when you get down to that certain point where the bend was, you get to this and you're fighting it and you're fighting it. What I figured out, and this is just the way I do it, you can do it any way you want, is the trusty hammer, rubber mallet, screwdriver. Turn it back around. Oh, heck, I might even be able to pull it out. It's wiggling out, but I think I'll just stick to the hammer and screwdriver. See, I'm at the bend now. There we go. Is out. I'm not going to be reusing the cotter pins. the kit that I got at 1A Auto. Comes with the new Cotter Pin, comes with the new cover. It does not come with the new spring washer, so you need to keep this. And there's our rusty old bolt. The new axle does come with the bolt, but it does not come with the new washer that's behind the bolt, so you need to hold on to that too. But I'll get to that when we get to that part. So just hold on to all this stuff. You'll figure out what you need. Alrighty. So now we have to break this bolt free. Penetrating oil. We are going to spray in here really good. Let that sit for a minute. Spray the front just a tad, because all that stuff's got to come off. Let it sit for a minute. We have our 36 millimeter. There we go. What I'm going to do is have my son come out. He's going to apply the brakes so that I can break this free. So hold on a second. Push and hold. Let's see here. Alright. So, got my breaker bar, but I'm also going to apply some extra leverage with, tell me that came off already.
Oh.
You kidding me?
That one didn't do the whole sounding like it was gonna break. It already came off.
Wow. That was not even on there. I didn't have to even put any weight on that. That just popped right. See what I mean, people? I didn't even have to put any weight on that.
Jeez. That's probably why we've been getting death walls so much.
That's scary. That
isn't that
scary.
basically what holds the tire on?
Okay. Well, that could be why the ball joints are gone bad. Alright. Cool. Can you hear my coffee cup? Okay. So, my son came out to apply the brakes so I could crank this bolt off, and I had my breaker bar and my 36 millimeter socket for this bolt, and then I had my 3.5 foot bar that I had to use for the other side, for the passenger side, that I had to put my full body weight into. I am 200 pounds plus, probably 205, really 210, but we'll just call it 205, into the passenger. This side, I put it on there, my son applied the brakes, and I swear I probably just put my hand, let me adjust here, I put my hand on the bar and just pushed down just a little bit with no body weight behind it. Just pushed down on the bar with my hand, and the bolt came free. Just like that, without any pressure. I did not have to put my body weight into it. I didn't have to push hard. It just came loose. So I can guarantee that this bolt was supposed to be at 175 foot-pounds. I can guarantee that this bolt was not at 175 foot-pounds. So I would recommend that if you ever buy a vehicle off Craigslist, check it out when you get it home, because I did not check this vehicle out when I got it home as far as the tightness of any bolts or anything like that. I have taken the tires off a couple times, like when I did the front suspension stuff and rotating tires around and stuff like that, but I've never checked these bolts for tightness. Just have a little flat pick here that I'm getting back here. My other screwdriver, or you know what, this cotter pin can get in there too. There we go. Wow, that's really scary that that bolt wasn't tightened up. But I bet that would cause the ball joints to go out if all that wasn't tightened up. Huh. And the wheel hubs, and I don't know what that would cause, but okay. Let's move on and see. Since I don't know the history of this vehicle, I'm just changing everything out. So, he said the, yeah. My CV boots are torn anyway, and 1A Auto sells a kit for axles and hubs, so I just bought the whole thing. It was cheaper to buy the kit than to just buy the axles by themselves and then later on buy the hubs, and they had free shipping and everything else, so it was a good deal. So that's what I did. Alright, let's see. We are continuing on with, we're going to take the brake calipers off. They are, I believe they are they 12 millimeter or are they 13? 12 or 13? I believe they're 13s. They are 13 millimeters. Alright, let's slide in here. Let's see. Alright, there's one at the top here, and there's another one down here at the bottom. Get you around here. This one. Yeah, this one. Can't even see it, huh? Which way am I going? That way. There's one. This one here. Nope, not that one. This one. That's the bleeder. This one here. And then you go down to the bottom. And it's that one right there. Yep. This one. Right here. Alright. those out. Ta-da. Now, take the rubber mallet. I'm going to bang these out. I don't like to compress. Get in there. See people take long screwdrivers and try and compress the calipers in and do all that mess. I am not going to do all that mess. Because I'm going to change out the rotors and the brake pads. So I am not going to worry about compressing the calipers. Although I might just a little. You never know, because this one's on there good. The other side, I didn't have to worry about it. They came off pretty easy. Look at that. As I say that, well, that one's tight. Okay. Push from this side. Just little taps. So do not want your caliper to go flying off. And then there we go. All right. Now, do not want the caliper to go flying off and just hanging by your brake line. So these brake pads, I'm going to switch all these out and later on when I'm putting everything together. But for right now, I'm going to bend this tab all the way up because these tabs, they also have these little nipples that lock them into these holes here. And if you can sit there and bang on them and bang on them and bang on them and try and get them out all you want, but these retaining clips keep them in there really good. So if you're switching out your brake pads, just bend the tabs and they pop right out. And then before I do anything with that rear one, I'm going to take my super cool brake caliper compressor, stick it in here, and you know what, let me pop real quick, because I'm pretty sure that when I did the one yesterday, my reservoir was almost full. So, got a couple shop towels just in case that reservoir starts to overflow. So, we do a couple cranks on this using the brake pad. the rear brake pad that's already in the caliper. See that? Don't take the brake pad out yet, the rear one. Then you can just compress it with this brake tool. Check the level. Yep, it is starting to come up. Just keep on squeezing until it's all the way compressed. All the way up. See the brake fluid coming down? I didn't check. Almost there. A little bit more. Nice and slow so you don't fold over the seal. Check up here, see what's going on. Alright. Almost there. Yep, there it is. Right there. It's all the way compressed. Oops. Now we can pull that one out. Put our lid back on the reservoir. There we go. And check the caliper. That looks pretty good. That's good. That's nice. Both of those move freely. That's good. Alright. And then either suspend it or just rest it over here on the control arm. Safely out of the way. Alright. Yeah. See. Rotor's got a nice lip on it. I don't have much for fingernails, but there you go. Here. Nice lip. Gonna be replacing these anyway. They got a nice squeal to them when they go down the road, so. Alright, here we are to the hub. Get this out of the way. Sorry for my albino white legs. Alright, wheel hubs. Put some oil here in the front. There's 3 13mm 12-point bolts that you have to take off. From the front, there's one here at the top, one on this side, and then one down here at the bottom, right there. And from the back, flip it around here. They're tucked under here. It's right here, under this bracket that secures your ABS, if you have ABS, one here, one way under here. It's up, up. The screen's giving me so much glare I can't even see. But this is your bump stop right here. It's right here, sorry about the lighting, but it's right there. Right there. And over here on this side is that one right there. And then also you have to take off back on this other side where this other one is. See that bolt right beside, here's the one you have to take off. But this right here, this little tiny 8mm, this is your speed sensor, your ABS sensor right here. You have to take off this little 8mm bolt and then remove this ABS sensor. So that's what we're going to do next. First I'm going to remove that 8mm bolt for the speed sensor, the ABS sensor. And that little 8mm is a 12 point, believe it or not. So, and it's a bugger to get to, and it's tight because that thing gets jammed up with all kinds of dirt. But I've got to say, I got this thing on Craigslist last November. Decent price. For my son, who's now joined the army and got himself a new vehicle. There we go. Alright. So, this is now my project. Alright, we'll pull the sensor out. There we go. And then, let me slide you back over here now that we have the sensor out. We have to disconnect from here and over here on this side. So just slide it out there. It's difficult. There we go, with one hand. And then we're just going to set this up over here with the brake caliper out of the way. Alright, so now that we oiled those up, they should be ready to go, and we'll take off the hub. Sorry, I'm using one of those little gorilla stands for my camera, and it doesn't always cooperate the way I want it to. Alright. Victory is mine! Ha 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 ha! Woo! Monkey. Those bad boys were in there. Alright, so. Now that we got those out, those weren't nearly as bad as the passenger side. But we are going to spray them down for next time. Spray them down. Spray them down. The other ones were rusted all the way up through here and were stuck like you wouldn't believe. And that's how I broke one of my wrenches, or my ratchets, trying to get it out. I literally snapped off right there trying to get it out. It snapped right there. Thanks a lot, Husky brand. Broke before my Harbor Freight wrench broke off. I broke a Husky socket or ratchet, 2 Husky adjustable wrenches before my Harbor Freight adjustable wrench broke. So, just saying. I hate that. I hate just saying. Jeez-oo. Anyway, I'm going to give this a tap, make sure it's seated all the way back in. And also, I've seen videos on the YouTube of people hitting the dust shield, which the passenger side, the dust shield was loose back here. It just shifted. As soon as I took the screws out, the dust shield just shifted back and forth freely, which is loose as this axle bolt was. I'm surprised that this one's not. So, anyway, I've seen people hammering back here at the joint where it touches the dust shield with chisels and screwdrivers and whatnot, and just tearing up the dust shield. Please do not tear up your dust shield just to get this off, okay? This is a thin piece of aluminum or whatever, thin sheet metal, whatever it is. Just don't hammer on this. This is thick steel. Hit this, okay? You don't have to hit it hard, just tap it. We're replacing ours anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it might be rusted in there, but we're just gonna hit that again anyway. And then see it moving. Dust shield's coming loose now. There it is, dust shield's loose. Yeah, did it without destroying the dust shield. So you gotta shift it a little bit. Let me get you back over here to where you can see. Now that the dust shield is loose, it's all coming out. The axle might come out with it. I don't know. Let's see. the axle is coming out with it. There we go. Knock the axle back in because we're not ready for that yet. Alright, let's see here. Yep. The axle is still trying to come out with the... You can definitely pull it off as one piece, but you still have to separate it because you need to put the dust shield back on. That axle is rusted. Yes. Yes. Look how rusty that is. Whew! The passenger side just pulled right apart, but it was still rusty. But, man, it's in there pretty good, huh? Alright. Now, let's see. Let's get a little spray in there, see what happens. Let's give that a couple seconds. I know I have a heck of a mess on my driveway, but that's okay. Alright, let's get back to this. And I've got to say that this vehicle, oh, there's the hammer. Alright, I do not intend to go rock crawling or anything crazy with this vehicle. Right now it's just my daily driver, and I would eventually like to be able to just take it out on some trails, because we have some awesome trails out here in Arizona. Some light rock crawling perhaps. Nothing that I need to put a 6-inch lift and, you know, long arms and all that. I don't think I'm going to be going up to do the Rubicon Trail or Moab or anything like that, but I would like to go out to, you know, maybe this canyon or do some light stuff, rock crawling, and I wouldn't say rock crawling, but trails that have some easy to moderate stuff. There we go. Ta-da. Even just some trails with no rocks, like up in Payson, up on the rim, the northern rim. It's okay. It spins okay, but it's got wobble. Look at that, buddy. Hear that? Uh-huh. Here it is, dust shield. Now, when I did the passenger side, the hub bearing was tight. It was still good. There was no play in it. And I thought, oh, great. There's some money I didn't need to spend. But since it came as a kit, I was like, what the heck? I might as well replace it, because I don't know the history of this vehicle, and I don't know how many miles, if these things have ever been replaced, which I'm guessing that they haven't, because nothing else has been replaced on this vehicle except for this 2-inch budget boost and these shocks, and apparently the tires and these wheel spacers. But I'm glad I got the hubs with these axles, because that wheel bearing was definitely out, and I'm guessing it probably wore out because this axle nut was definitely not tightened up. Alright, let's pull this bad boy out and continue on our journey, because we're almost ready to take off the spindle. So pull this out, keep it supported, because there is a seal back there you don't want to damage. There we go. Very nice. There we go. Torn CV boot. Lots of junk in there. Lovely. Got some ball bearings missing. Nope, they're there. I see them. Very nice. Add this to the collection of scrap metal for my son. Alright, we're almost there to start. Alright, so we are going to, let's see, take off, let's get rid of this extra grease. Take off the tie rod end first, or leave it in place. You know what? Let us leave it in place for now. We are going on to the upper ball joint bolt. Alright, so upper ball joint bolt has upper ball joint bolt has got cotter pin. It's got right behind this. Let me get you over here. You just see it in there. See how they splay it open up there? They tuck the pin to the top and then fold it down to the bottom. So it's at a really weird angle. Right? So, and they do the same thing on the bottom one. They fold it top and bottom. Okay? So, let me get to those real quick. right. Easy peasy. Go. Bottom pin is out. And let's see about this top one here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. 4 hours later. 4. Woo! Alright, there we go. Oh. Okay, so we're going to start with the upper ball joint. It is a 22 millimeter. Let's go. Here we go. Loose. When you take the bolt off, the bracket for the ABS sensor comes off with it. Notice how it comes off. The downside points towards the front of the vehicle, not towards the back. Ask me how I know. Your new ball joint should come with a new washer and a cotter pin. New grease fitting for the top. The ones that I got from 1A Auto that I purchased myself, they did not send these to me. It's not a sponsored video. Hint, hint. The comes with a 22 millimeter bolt on the top, and the lower, which is normally a 28 millimeter, when you go to put it back on, it is not a stock bolt. When you go to put it back on, it comes with a 36 millimeter, right? But when you go, let me show you, right? And I'll show you this again when we reinstall it. Can you see that? I can't tell because my screen's upside down. Yeah, you can see that, right? 28 millimeter downstairs there. Look at this. Woo! This is a 36 millimeter for the bolt. And it's not even 36. I had to go to the parts store, went to Orielly for the new ball joint, the new lower ball joint. 36 millimeter was still sloppy in the socket. Ended up being a 1 5/16 socket that I needed for the lower ball joint bolt. 1 5/16. That's a monster. It is a 3/4. I had to get an adapter to go with it because I don't have a 3/4 wrench to go in there. It's huge, but I'll get that again when we get to the installation. Alright, let's go. Back. Alright.